turns, 3 and 4. Chad White on the bottom. William Duff on the top. Checkered flag in the air. Who's going to win? It's William Duff. No, look out. He just junked it. Look out. Oh, my God. World's #1 streaming service, Hutchinson Motorsports TV. On the call tonight. On your feet. Off your seats. It's about to go green. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live here tonight. Motor City Racing, IMSA multi-class action. Gonna be a good one here tonight. We are at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. I am pumped up for this one. Be sure, folks, before we get started, click that like button, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. And we are just about ready to roll. And it's official, folks. Quick time, Christopher Damcalier on the top of the board, and the GTP is going to kick off from the pole position in the LMP2s. It's going to be Braxton Jarrett. GTD Pros, we got Tun Sharma on the top of the board, and in the GTDs, last season's points champion Steve Tucker going to kick off from the pole position in that class. As always, folks, we appreciate you popping in, spending your Sunday night right here on the world's #1 streaming service, Hutchinson Motorsports TV, and it is time to get gridded up and rolling here on the world's #1 streaming service. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time. Hutchinson Motorsports TV on the call for you great fans. Blake Hutchinson in the booth. The GOAT. Here is tonight's starting lineup. On the front row in the pole position for the GTPs in the Hutchinson Motorsports TV GTP machine, it's going to be Christopher Damcalier. On his outside, Nate Benarwitz. Row #2 on the inside, Brayton Carlson. On the outside, Alan Gullison. Row #3 on the inside, Julian Padilla. On his outside, Jesse Erdman. Going back a row to row #4, John Sanfilippo gonna be on the inside. On his outside, Mr. Miller. Row #5 on the inside, Brandon Perry in the 21, and on his outside, Donald. Dropping back to the LMP2s. On the pole position for them, it's going to be Braxton Jarrett. On his outside, Anthony Hutchinson. Row #2, it's going to be Casey Catola. Scott Mouse. Row #3 on the inside for the clad, it's going to be Bevan McComb, Sean Akins, and then we have Trent Blaylock, Richard Danielski, Christopher Santiago, Om Rajapati. That rounds out your your LMP2s. Then in the GTD Pros front row, gonna be Brayton Carlson from the pole position, I believe. Let me double check that here, folks. It's a little jumbled up here with the multi-class, so you'll just have to take a look here. Ian Drennan, Miguel Torres, Alex Lalonde, Tyler Mantle, Frank Pisano, Herbert Panetta, and so on. And then into the GTDs to round out the field, it's going to be Steve Tucker, Hugh Locklear, Cameron Vader, Arthur Ramirez, Matthew Elmore, Stephen McLean, Eric Jeffrey, and so on and so forth, folks. Looks like we've got about 45 cars signed in here tonight at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. We are ready to get going. Taking the long out lap around, Christopher Damcalier going to kick off this race from the front row. Has to be feeling good about his chances. Has the best equipment in the business, folks. The Hutchinson Motorsports TV GTP, folks. I tell you what, we give him the best in the business. And I'm not going to lie, it might be a little bit illegal. as they all try to warm them tires up. You know, cold tires are nothing to mess with here in this IMSA multi-class action. Be sure, folks, again, drop a comment in the chat. Let us know what you're pulling for. What's going to go on? We got Apex in the chat. Says he loves the lineup music. Well, we appreciate that, Apex. We wish the grid was a little easier. It's hard to do the grid in this multi-class stuff because iRacing wants to list them out as if it was one class. So, nonetheless, we try to do what we can. We're probably going to come up with something eventually. But that's all we got for now. But looks like we are just about ready to roll here at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. GTP is going to kick off the race. Green flag in the air. Christopher Danclear, your pole sitter, going to take off from the front row. In the LMP2s, here they go. Green flag out for this class. Ripping around door to door, heading into turn one. Here come the GTP and the GTD and the GTD pros as they take the green flag. Oh, we got a pile up, folks. Cars are crashing up front. Let's take a look. Matthew Elmore is jumped. Was in the GT3s here. There's Elmore going through the corner. Didn't last long. And then there he goes. Straight back onto the track. Oh, they cannot be happy about not holding your brake. Oh, man, these drivers are not going to be happy. They don't even make it a corner. Let's take a look at this one more time. There you have it, Matthew Elmore. He gets a little loose, spins it around. If he just would have held the brake right there, I think he would have been okay. But unfortunately, comes up the track, collects a couple more, including the Ace Motorsports, whatever that is right there, just lost a front bumper. There you have that. Let's see. Looks like Michael iRacing involved here. See what happened with Michael. Starting in the back here tonight. Looks like he just had to stop, basically. So Michael iRacing checks up before it's all damaged. So we're going to go back live here. Head back up front. Not sure why this replay transition's taken 4 years. There we go. Looks like we're going to have to think twice about using the replay button tonight. I'm going to have to manually fast forward this because this is ridiculous. All right, here we go. Let's get back up to your race leader. Here we have it. Christopher Danclear out front. Braden Carlson sitting second, followed by Julian Padilla, Nate Bonarowitz, Alan Gullison, John Sanfilippo, then Jesse Erdman, Brandon Perry. That rounds out your GTP class there. And then we got in the LMP2s, Braxton Jarrett, your leader in this class. Anthony Hutchinson sitting in second, followed by Casey Catola, Sean Akins, Bevan McCombs, and more. Jumping on back here to the GTD pros, Alex Lalande, your class leader, a 2.5 lead already on none other than Miguel Torres. Well, I tell you what, Miguel Torres and Alex Lalande, they got tangled up there on lap 1 last week, and Alex Lalande caught the worst part of that tangle up. Ended up junking it as Miguel Torres, I believe, brings home the win last week. And dropping back here to the GTD class, Steve Tucker, your class leader there. Let's take a look at Mr. Steve Tucker. Here he is. Beautiful looking harpoon design, 10-year anniversary machine. Let's try to pull out the Juicy Spider drone cam and take a closer look at this beautiful machine that Steve Tucker's got. It's like we got connection, and take a look here on the hood there of the car, or the roof, sorry. You'll see the Harpoon Design 10-year anniversary. Head on over, folks, harpoondesign.com. Best paint in the business. They don't typically do these road racing paint schemes, but hey, it never hurts to try. Don't tell him I sent you, though. He will not want to do that. But we jump back out front. Christopher Danclear and that Hutchinson Motorsports TV GTP, your overall leader. Looking pretty good here, about 0.6 of a second ahead of the second place. And the LMP2s, still Braxton Jarrett out front. In the GTD Pros, Alex Lalonde, and again, Steve Tucker in the GTDs in the Hutchinson Motorsports TV GTD. Feels good to have two HMS TV drivers leading their respective classes. Which makes me think, you know, Sean Aikens, last year he was put on a clinic, and this year he's kind of letting us down here at HMS TV, sitting in 4th in the class. Not good enough, Sean. Get on the gas. Let's hop on board with Sean Aikens. See him going through the gears there, down to 4th gear, down to 3rd, taking the hard left. Hops on down to 2nd, gets on the gas, and he sends it. There you have it. I tell you what, Sean was calling me all week. He was scared to death of this track, and I said, Sean, you need to relax. I had to give him all kinds of pointers on how to rip it around this track. And he told me, he said, Blake, without you, I'd probably be running 10th place here. And I believe it. So Sean's doing a little bit better, but I can only coach him up so much. Meanwhile, Michael Hickman cruising around there in the GTD Pro class in the 8th position. Good turnout here tonight, as usual, with Motor City Racing IMSA multi-class action. Looks like we had Brandon Perry pop off track here. Let's see what happens. Just overshoots the corner, drives off track, and straight back on. Todd Torville looks like he does the same here, off track. There's a corner there, Todd. Overshoots it there, never lifts. Almost hits the tire barriers, but he keeps it going. There we go, Stephen McLean. He goes off track here briefly, I believe. He does not. And we'll try to go back live, and of course we're going to get frozen up. This junk service we're using. So we're going to manually fast forward again. There we have it. Christopher Damcalier, your race leader, with Brady Carlson trying to reel him in, but he's got about a 3.8 second gap on 2nd place. Meanwhile, Anthony Hutchinson in the 2nd position in the LMP2s, about a second off pace between him and Braxton Jarrett, your class leader. Casey Catola right behind him, trying to reel him in for that 2nd position. Let's hop on board with CK Casey Catola with Motor City Racing. Take a look at the top right of your screen. You can get a track map and kind of see where these guys are at. The car we're highlighted on is going to be lit up in green there as you see CK crossing the start-finish line. Checking out the chat here, we got Odyssey Motorsports TV pulling for Els. Trying to find out who Els is. And we got like 50 drivers here. I'm not very good with the nicknames. I don't see an Els, so you'll have to let us know who you're talking about. We got Connor Gerard blowing up the chat, die-hard fan. Hutchinson Motorsports TV's #1 fan, Connor Gerard. He never misses a single stream. See what else we got going on through the circuit. Braxton Jarrett, still your leader in the LMP2s with Anthony Hutchinson right there with him. Motorsports TV says he's rooting for LaShawn Young Dilworth, currently running back here in the GTD Pro class in the 6th position. Let's see what LaShawn has up his sleeve tonight from Drive Trainer Motorsport. Let's hop on board with Odyssey Motorsports TV's favorite driver, LaShawn Young Dilworth. Listen to that engine rip it around Canadian Tire Motorsports Park here tonight on the world's #1 streaming service, Hutchinson Motorsports TV. That's a good-looking Ford Mustang for Mr. LaShawn Young Dilworth. Meanwhile, jumping up here to the middle of the pack in the LMP2 class, Bevan McComb sitting in the 6th position, trying to reel in Richard Danielewski for that 5th spot. Julian Padilla cruising in the 5th position in the GTP class, trying to get that thing up towards the front. We know Julian's got some talent here. He's never one to count out. Always interesting to see what the in-game strategy is. Seems like there's always something going on, especially in this GTP class. I feel like fuel saving is way more important in this class for whatever reason. They're always cutting it close on either tires or fuel or something crazy. So we're going to see how this plays out in the long run. If Julian has maybe a long-term strategy or what's going on. Meanwhile, back in the GTD class, Eric Jeffrey sitting in the 5th position in the class, trying to let some of these faster class cars by. Let's pop up to our eyes in the sky, the Harpoon design blimp here at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Look at all these trees, folks. I tell you what, they need to take a chainsaw and knock them all down. I think we need to take down every single tree and pour some concrete. Let's make the whole infield concrete. That's what needs to happen. We need an entire concrete complex of racing here. We want no green anywhere to be found. Put some grandstands, maybe a roundabout. Let's throw a roundabout somewhere in there. You can always use more roundabouts. That's exactly what this place needs here at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park on the world's #1 streaming service, Hutchinson Motorsports TV. Christopher Santiago cruising around. He's running dead last in the LMP2s according to my statistics. The Mach 1 Motorsports number 98 machine of Christopher Santiago. He's not very quick here tonight, but he's doing his best, folks. Put a W in the chat for Christopher Santiago running last. We got Apex hunting in the chat. Who else? Connor Gerard. Who else is out there here? I know we got some others. Looks like there are around 14 viewers tuned in here for the start of this one. We're into minute number 12 here shortly. Out of 60 minutes tonight, 1 hour race. You're watching Motor City Racing IMSA style action on the world's #1 streaming service, Hutchinson Motorsports TV. Folks, we're going to take a quick break, but don't you worry, we're not going to be here long. We will be right back for the continuation of Motor City Racing here at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. back here at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Looks like Tyler Merritt crashed under brake. Let's take a look at what happened here as he's leaving pit road. The Elliott Sadler Esports GT3 machine. Tyler Merritt gets onto the track and he parks it. He says, "I've had enough, boys. We are done." Matt Marino here. Let's see what he's got up his sleeve in that GT3 machine. Little too hard there coming out and shifts it sideways into the wall. He goes. He's got a little bit of damage. Very annoying. But nonetheless, Christopher Damclear, your overall race leader, has about almost a 4-second gap on Braden Carlson. Om Prajapati, the weapon, sitting in that 9th position in the LMP2s. Let's check out the chat here, what we got going on. Connor Gerard still tuned in, hopping in the chat. 15 or so fans watching. Be sure to click that like button on the video for us. Subscribe to the channel, Hutchison Motorsports TV. Be sure to drop a comment as well. 15 people watching, 3 likes. And that is not Matthew for me. Alex Lalande sitting in that 2nd position. Looks like Miguel Torres has leapfrogged him. The Canadian of Lalande trying to get that thing back into victory lane. We know him and Miguel Torres always racing hard. Always the 2 heavy favorites here in this GTD Pro class. We're on the rear suspension cam of Miguel Torres, your GTD Pro leader, a 3.3 second lead on Alex Lalande. Meanwhile, good run so far for Steve Tucker in that GTD machine. He has almost a 10-second gap on Stephen McLean. And in the LMP2s, looks like we've got a new leader there. Casey Catola takes over that top spot. And it looks like we have an incident here, folks. Om Prajapati involved. Let's see what happens. Oops. So let's see. Bevan McCombs involved here initially. Oh, man, they're 3 wide going to the corner. That was a close call. Guy's racing hard. Dive bombs him there. There's a car there. He dumps him, and I believe he spun out his teammate. So those were teammates there, folks, and they just junked each other. So there you have it. So Alan Golison cruising around in the 5th position in the GTPs. We are 18.5 minutes into this race, almost a third of the way done. Todd Torville down pit road. Not sure if that's a scheduled stop or not. My guess is it's not. But here is Braden Carlson sitting in the 2nd position in the GTP class with Nate Benarowitz behind him in 3rd. Then in the LMP2s, Casey Catola, your class leader. Braxton Jarrett right behind him in 2nd. Sean Akins in 3rd. Ian Drennan just junked it, folks. Shocker. Let's take a look. Slide job. Ian Drennan. Well, I tell you what. Ian Drennan just, he loves spinning out. It is a pastime of his. There he goes. So we may as well manually fast forward because we know the live button doesn't work. So there you have it. Ian Drennan goes for a minor spin. In the GTD Pro class, you have Miguel Torres, your class leader, with Alex Lalande in 2nd, and Herbert Panetta Sr. in 3rd. Bit of a gap there, though, between 2nd and 3rd. Looks like Panetta is about 18 seconds behind the 2nd place car of Alex Lalande. Boy, I tell you what, Steve Tucker, he's so fast right now. He's in the GTD class. He would be 4th if he was in the GTD Pro. So he's definitely got some pace here at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Steve Tucker, let's hop on board your GTD leader. Nice Sunday drive there for the GTD class leader of Steve Tucker. 10.6 seconds ahead of Stephen McLean. Meanwhile, Om Prajapati in the 7th position in the LMP2 class. Dropping back a bit here, Logan Beecham in the GTD Pro class. Not a great night for him, sitting in the 6th spot, but could be doing a lot worse. Behind him, LaShawn Young Dilworth in 7th. Then going down to the GTD class, Drew Leonard rounds out your podium for now in that class. Let's take a look here, folks, at your HMS TV battle board. The closest battles on the track right now looks to be between Om Prajapati, Trent Blaylock, and then also Logan Beecham and Stephen McLean. A couple tenths of a second separate those two. But dominating performance so far for Christopher Dam-Collier. 4.2 second lead on Braden Carlson. Again, Nate Benarowitz rounds out your podium in the GT3s. See what else we got going on through the field here tonight. As we jump up to the Harpoon Design Blimp Cam, we got Brantley Roden flying the blimp high up there. We are here in Canada. Brantley Roden, honestly, he shouldn't have flown past the border, but he did it anyways in the blimp, and here he is. Got away with it, too. Well done, Brantley. Head on over, folks. Paint start at just $25 at harpoondesign.com. Brantley Roden can help you out with any NASCAR-style paint or dirt paint. He doesn't typically do these road racing paints, but it doesn't hurt to try, because I know he's dabbled in them before for Steve Tucker. But he's probably not gonna. But here's Miguel Torres, your leader in the GTD Pro. Let's hop on board with your GTD Pro leader, Miguel Torres from Puerto Rico. What a beautiful view here in Canada at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Let's try to get some more information on this track. There you have it, Canadian Tire Motorsports Park here in Bowmanville, Canada. No clue where that is. My guess is it's probably a dump. 2.5 mile track, about 81 degrees Fahrenheit outside. If you use Celsius, that's too bad. You're gonna have to figure it out. Got a little bit of altitude. We are 1,100 feet up in the sky here at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Great racing so far here tonight on the world's #1 streaming service, Hutchinson Motorsports TV. There's nowhere else you'd rather be to watch some green flag action. 16 fans tuned in here right now on Hutchinson Motorsports TV to watch some Motor City Racing IMSA style action. Casey Catola still your LMP2 leader, a 3-second gap there, and the closest battle for the lead in any class looks to be in the GTD Pros, where Miguel Torres has about a 1.3 second advantage on Alex Lalonde. So let's hop on board with Mr. Alex Lalonde, see if he can run down Miguel Torres for this GTD Pro class lead. Hugh Locklear in the 5th position in his GTD class. Top 5 runs for him so far. He's going to try to hold on as we are almost halfway done here tonight in the minute number 26 out of 60. Jesse Erdman, though, sitting in the 6th position in the GTP class. Solid run for him so far. He's going to try to continue to improve the pace, see if he can maybe reel in a car or two in front of him. As always, we appreciate you tuning in and again spending your Sunday night right here. We hope maybe you watched some football tonight or today. If you did, let us know who your favorite team is and how they did. I was pretty satisfied with my football day. Chicago Bears won, and the Green Bay Packers and Detroit Lions both lost. So, you know, I like pointing out to all my friends, it's still the same old Lions. For all you Lions fans out there, at the end of the day, you guys are the Detroit Lions. It just is how it is. So back to mediocrity you go. You're probably never going to be relevant again. So you should have enjoyed the 1 or 2 years you had, 1.5 years I'll call it. But you guys are basically done for. But nonetheless, Ian Drennan just crashed it again. This guy has an obsession with crashing race cars. Let's take a look. Here goes Ian Drennan around. Nobody near him, so I'm sure it is his fault. And slide job. There it is. Bam! Backs it into the wall. He's junk. Great, Ian. Thanks. Hutchinson Motorsports TV Body Shop is going to have a lot of work to do, per the usual, with Ian Drennan behind the wheel. Man, if this guy didn't bring so much money to the team, I tell you what, we'd fire him. But the good news is we got it in his contract where he's got to cover all the damages, so better get to work, Ian. So there he goes down the road. Again, we're going to manually fast forward this because SDK does not like IMSA style racing. I literally did a broadcast earlier today, NASCAR style, and I could fast forward just fine, but not here in multi-class racing. So while Dan Clear continues to lead the GTPs, still Casey Catola out front in the LMP2s. Nothing's really changing in any other classes. Miguel Torres in the GTD Pros, and then Steve Tucker, your GTD leader. Here we're taking a look at LaShawn Young-Dilworth in the 5th position in the GTD Pros. Not a bad night so far for Mr. LaShawn. Michael iRacing cruising in the 5th position in his class in the GTDs. Solid night so far as Braden Carlson continues to try to run down Christopher Dan Clear as we are about halfway done. Braden Carlson just put down the fastest lap of the race, folks. So keep an eye on this number 81 GTP machine of Braden Carlson. He is flying. Since we're halfway home, folks, we're going to take one more quick break. Well, another quick break, and we will be right back. Don't you worry. You're not going to miss much. Larry McReynolds has a quick message from great fans. Don't touch that dial.
Hi, I'm Larry McReynolds. Remember, in any type of racing, it's all about execution. So right now, subscribe to Hutchison Motorsports TV today. You know America's crew chief. I would never steer you wrong.
Hutchison Motorsports TV is back. The lights are bright and the stands are
We are back here. We're going to play back Sean Aiken's last lap. Looks like he junks it. Not sure exactly where. We had to manually rewind to find this. So we're going to watch Sean Aiken's final lap around one of these corners. He's going to end up junking it. Let's fast forward, actually, folks. He may finish the whole lap. We're going to do this the hard way here, folks. Sean Aikens, he was running pretty deep. Oh, here it is. All right, he was running pretty decent. He's sitting in the podium spot, so here you have it. Sean Akins finishes his night. He flashes at the lap car, goes into the corner there. Yeah, you hit the curb there, Sean, and there's a corner. I told you there was a corner there, Sean. Before this race, remember? I said you need to watch for that corner. And unfortunately, you didn't listen. You're jumping. Sean Akins is done for the night, it appears. We have to manually fast forward again. Looks like, again, SDK is not liking IMSA style action. Not even close here. Why is this taking so long, folks? Well, nonetheless, we're just going to have to do it this stupid way here. Again, SDK is not a fan of multiple classes. There we go. Looks like it actually worked for once. So Braden Carlson, your GTP leader right now, as Christopher Dampierre went down pit road and surrendered the race lead. In the LMP2, CK Casey Catola still out front in front of Richard Danielewski. And then in the GTD Pros, Miguel Torres out front of Alex Lalonde. Nothing's changed in the GTD classes. Steve Tucker is running a great race. He is down pit road though, so he's going to surrender the lead, and Stephen McLean just took it over in the GTD class. So we're in the middle of pit cycles here, just over halfway done. Motor City Racing IMSA style action on Hutchinson Motorsports TV. Click that like button on the video for us, folks. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Drop a comment. Let us know who your favorite driver is. All that good stuff. John Sanfilippo cruising around in the 7th position in this GTP class. Come on, John, get on the gas. Let's hop on board, see what John Sanfilippo has up his sleeve. Well, I tell you what, John Sanfilippo looking to get to the front. He can run these guys down. Maybe he can dump them. That's what I would do, folks. I tell you what, if you're running near the back in the GTP class, just get up there, move some guys out of the way. Rubbing is racing, trust me. Meanwhile, CK Casey Catola trying to bring home a big win here tonight. Has about a 5.4 second gap. And folks, as we check out the chat, Patrick Gavigan just subscribed to Hutchinson Motorsports TV. Congratulations, Patrick. You just made the best decision of your life, sir. What a move. Everybody put a W in the chat for Patrick. W Patrick in the chat. Let me type that out. Hutchinson Motorsports TV's newest subscriber. What a move, Patrick. Congratulations. Meanwhile, Steve Tucker, still your GTD leader, has a 5.5 second gap on Stephen McLean after those two both went down pit road. They are good to go the rest of the way. Eric Jeffrey is junk. Let's take a look. The Canadian of Eric Jeffrey, he's at his hometown track here at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, and wham! Hard into the wall he goes. Eric, there's a wall there, bub. Eric Jeffrey, he's jumping. Looks like we're going to do the old manual fast forward. This is fun, isn't it, folks? Love it. All right, and then who else we got? Samuel Andrews right here. Looks like he is Eric's teammate. He's cruising around in the 6th position in this GTD class. See what else we got going on here with Miguel Torres, your GTD Pro class leader, 4.6 second lead on Alex Lalonde. Boy, I tell you what, Alex Lalonde, he was killing it last season, but it looks like Miguel Torres is going to be giving him the business all season long. Braden Carlson, your GTP class leader, trying to see what happened to Chris Damcalier. Just a bad pit stop or what happened? Must have spun out or something, folks, because his pit stop wasn't too bad. Christopher Damcalier, he's dropped. Actually, I'm lying. He had a terrible pit stop. Must have sped or something down pit road or had some damage. I don't know. So his pit time was 1 minute and 3 seconds. Everybody else was like 24 seconds. So a miserable pit stop there for Chris Damcalier in the Hutchison Motorsports Stevie GTP machine, folks. We might be having to fire him. Not gonna lie, we might have to fire him. If you drive a GTP machine, shoot me a message. Let me know. We got Gortzy in the chat. Says Jeffrey into the wall on the start. Straight. That's embarrassing. Gortzy, I definitely agree with that. You know, it happens, though, to the best of us. Sometimes you make a mistake early on, and it is tough. Hopefully he can figure it out, though. Maybe next week, have better luck. But Drew Leonard in the 5th position in the GTD class. Having some connection issues, it looks like, for him, so hopefully we can get that lined out. As Stephen McLean still sitting in the 2nd position in the GTDs with Steve Tucker, your class leader. Nate Benarowitz trying to bring home a podium finish for the GTP class. Let's hop on board with Mr. Nate Benarowitz trying to get his best finish of the season. Actually, I take that back, Connor. I think there are only 4 GTD Pro Class cars on the track here. Looks like we got a lot of them wrecking. So disregard my chat message there, Connor. We are down to 4 GTD Pros, it appears, from what I'm seeing on the track. LaShawn Young Dilworth, the final one in the GTD Pro Class. So not a bad gig for him. He throws a slide job as Drew Leonard goes off the track. We're watching Drew Leonard in the 5th position in the GTD cars. Throws a slide job off the track. There was a corner there, Drew. Chris Damcalier sits in the 6th position in this GTP class, making a pass there on a GT3 car. Again, you know, he had a pit stop earlier that was about more than double the length of everybody else. So not sure if he sped down pit road or had some serious damage to fix, but something definitely happened with that number 169 GTP car. Meanwhile, Anthony Hutchinson in the 4th position in the LMP2s, trying to bring home a podium finish in that class. Looks like he's about a second behind Braxton Jarrett for 3rd. Casey Catola trying to bring home a big win here in the LMP2s. He has a 6.8 second gap on Richard Danielewski. Let's hop up to our eyes in the sky, the Harpoon Design Blimp, folks. Be sure head on over, harpoondesign.com. Paint started just $25. Brantley Roden, the best in the business. Don't forget our friends over at Juicy Spider Studios. You want to get a hold of them for any of your video needs, folks. If you saw our Hutchison Motorsports TV intro/outro video, they made that over there, folks. So they can do that kind of stuff for you. They do 3D modeling, any kind of video graphics, essentially. They can hook you up. Best way to get a hold of them is to go on X, formerly known as Twitter. Look up Juicy Spider Studios. I'll drop a message in the chat on how it's spelled. But we're going into minute number 45 out of 60, so we are 3 3/4 of the way done here tonight, folks. Time to take a quick break, but don't you go anywhere. You're not going to want to miss the finish of this thing as you're watching some good battles here at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park on the world's #1 streaming service, Hutchinson Motorsports TV. Click that like button, subscribe to the channel. We'll be right back. We are back here at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, and under break, you saw it on the corner of your screen. Miguel Torres was your GTD Pro leader. Well, folks, he went to get around a GTD car, and he ended up spinning out, surrenders the race lead over to Alex Lalonde in this GTD Pro class. Heartbreaker there for Miguel Torres, so Lalonde gonna inherit that race lead with about 11 minutes remaining here at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Still Braden Carlson out front in this GTP class with Casey Catola in front in the LMP2s, and still Steve Tucker in the GTDs. So we've had a bit of drama here between some of your race leaders. We saw Christopher Danclear had some issues down pit road. And folks, speaking of which, Christopher Danclear just jumped it. Take a look. Oh my, this might be ugly, folks. Take a look here at Christopher Danclear. GTP car, he goes wide here. Oh man, the guy just comes up and dumps him. Oh my, that was dirty. He just flat out dumped him. Was that intentional? Oh my, let's take the Juicy Spider drone cam around, folks. Get a closer look at this. This is a dump and run, we're going to call it. So there you have it. So take a look. Who is the culprit here? Missed Apex Racing in the GTD car. Ends up just flat out junking him. You be the steward here, folks. We'll take the drone cam out here, and we'll play this one more time. Wham! There it is. Hard into the wall. He's jumped. His night's finished. Scott flat out dumped. See it one more time here, folks. Here it is. Goes around the GT3 car. Guy comes up, says, "Later, loser. You're not passing me." Stuffs him. Not sure who exactly the culprit was. No way to tell. And we are back live here. Braden Carlson, your GTP class leader. Roy Paelski in the chat. Thanks for popping in here. Roy, how is it going? We've got Sean Aiken still tuned in. Sean says, unfortunately, it's Chris's fault. Braxton Jarrett, though, cruising around in the 5th position. Top 5 run so far in this LMP2 class for Braxton Jarrett. The day started off much better. He was out front there in the top, 1 or 2 spots for a while. Then he ended up dropping back here, but nothing wrong with a 5th place run in this stacked LMP2 class. And folks, I think Alex Lalonde junked it or pitted or something extra. We'll go back, watch this replay. It's probably going to make us manually fast forward later, but here it is. Alex Lalonde, he was your GTD Pro leader. Let's see what happens. Oh my gosh! A guy spins out and Lalonde tries to go wide and he clips him again! This guy had it out for Alex Lalonde. My goodness. Boy, poor Alex Lalonde. He couldn't really do anything different there. Let's take a look one more time. You see a car spinning up here. All right, he's spun out right there. So Lalonde says, all right, I'm just going to scooch on by here. Nope, gets quarter paneled. He's like, all right, well, I'll just get going now, I guess. Nope, wham! Finishes the job. That's the 26 machine. Try to find out who that is. Q Locklear just jumped. Alex Lalonde ruined his chances at winning the GTD Pro class. Way to go, Q. Love it. Sometimes you just got to junk them, folks. Trust me. I've got a couple of these GT3 races under my belt. And that's what you got to do sometimes. And again, we're here manually fast forwarding because SDK is junk. There you have it. So we're on minute number 53.5 about, so only 6.5 minutes remain here with the hour-long IMSA style action with Motor City Racing. Corty in the chat says, gotta leave the space. Definitely agree with you, Corty. Appreciate you guys popping in here. We're getting near the end of this one as Braden Carlson putting on a clinic now in this GTP class, trying to bring home a big win. Still Casey Catola out front, 11-second lead nearly for the LMP2 class leader of Casey Catola. Miguel Torres takes back the GTD Pro lead. And folks, we're running out of cars. We are down to 3 GTD Pro cars. It's kind of wild, folks. I mean, we started with over 10. We're down to 3. Well, these guys are out here. It is a war in the GTD Pro class for some reason. The other classes really aren't having as many issues, it appears, but they sure are in this GTD Pro. And in the basic GTD class, Steve Tucker, your race leader, but Stephen McLean starting to reel him in. Race lead there down to 3 seconds, it appears. Connor Gerard says we might have to set up a ring in case people want to fight. I would agree with that, Connor. There's going to be some hurt feelings down in the garage. Gortzy says better get some security down in the pits at the end of the race. Lalonde is going to be fired up. I don't know, Gortzy. Lalonde's a Canadian. He won't get fired up. He's probably already smiling. But Casey Catola out front, your leader in this LMP2 class. See what else is going on around the circuit here with 4 minutes remaining. These guys racing hard. There's not a lot of room to pass here at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, and I think that's the majority of these issues here. You basically got 2 lanes around the whole track, and when you're taking a high-speed corner, it is not easy to make a pass, especially when you got cars that are going way slower around you. Odyssey Motorsports pulling for LaShawn to keep it together and get a podium. Hopefully he can hold on to a podium, I would hope. There's only 3 cars left, so it'd be a big race for him, though. We sure hope he can do it. Braden Carlson out here just chipping away. When is he going to get the white flag? As he just passed the flag stand. Looks like his lap times take about 1 minute and 6 or 7 seconds. So we might see the white flag next time around. My guess is probably in 2 laps he'll get the white flag. But we'll just have to wait and see here on the world's #1 streaming service, Hutchinson Motorsports TV. Folks, click that like button on the video. Subscribe to the channel. Finish coming up next. Quick message from Larry McReynolds. Go ahead, Larry.
Hi, I'm Larry McReynolds. Remember, in any type of racing, it's all about execution. So right now, subscribe to Hutchinson Motorsports TV today. You know America's crew chief. I would never steer you wrong.
Hutchinson Motorsports TV is back. The lights are bright and the stands are packed.
That's Larry McReynolds letting you know to subscribe to Hutchinson Motorsports TV today. Quit ignoring America's crew chief. Give it a subscribe, give it a like, drop a comment in the chat. We've got Odyssey Motorsports TV, Sean Akins, Gortzy, Connor Gerard, Roy Paelski out there. Who else? I'm sure we're missing plenty of others. Appreciate you folks tuning in, spending your Sunday night right here with Motor City Racing, IMSA style action on Hutchinson Motorsports TV. 2 minutes remain. Braden Carlson, your overall class leader. My guess is, folks, this next lap around, you're going to see the white flag waving in the air. Let's hop on board here. Braden Carlson as he rips it down the long backstretch here at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, trying to bring home the checkered flag and park it in victory lane tonight. Apex hunting in the chat as well. Definitely don't want to forget him. Big shout out to all you fans. You know, makes it a lot more fun of a time, I guess, I would say, with fans in the chat tuned in. And I was not looking if that was a white flag. So we will we'll just wait and see, I guess. Let us know in the chat if you saw it. If I did. See what else we got going on around the track as Nate Bonarowitz in that 2nd position. Christopher Santiago, he's playing the long game here tonight, has worked himself up to 5th in the LMP2 class by staying out of trouble. And folks, that's all it takes half the time. If you're not running too hot, if you just stay out of trouble, you're going to gain a lot of spots. There are a lot of incidents in these races with 50-plus cars out on the track, varying speeds. You're going to see a lot of incidents, and you're going to make some passes. Looks like Braden Carlson crosses the line there, and he's going to get the white flag there, I believe. So white flag is officially in the air now. So Braden Carlson going to take it around one more time, try to bring home the checkered flag and end this thing here at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park on the world's #1 streaming service. So the final minute of the evening here, folks. Appreciate you once again tuning in, clicking that like button, subscribing to the channel, all that good stuff. We are going to do some driver interviews at the end of this race as Braden Carlson, Casey Catola, Miguel Torres, and Steve Tucker look to be bringing home the checkered flags here tonight. Keep an eye on your overall class leader, Braden Carlson, going to bring out the checkered flag here as he goes through the final corner of the evening. Braden Carlson in the GTPs going to take home the checkered flag here tonight. And he flashes lights, so no penalty. CK, Casey Catola, has a while to go before he takes home the checkered. He's got a whole lap to finish, essentially. And Steve Tucker just takes home the checkered flag, so we missed him crossing the line. So there's Steve Tucker, your GTD winner, parking the Harpoon Design GTD machine in the victory lane. Through the final corners is Miguel Torres, gonna be your GTD Pro winner. Let's see if he flashes the lights. There you have it, no penalty needed for Miguel Torres, your GTD Pro winner. And the final class leader to cross the line, it's gonna be none other than CK, Casey Catola, as he heads down the long backstretch. But don't you go anywhere yet, folks. We're going to do some driver interviews here next as CK, Casey Catola, goes through the final corners, and he's going to take home another LMP2 victory. There you have it, flashing the lights. He's good. So everybody's good to go. Everybody flash their lights. Folks, interviews coming up next. Don't you go anywhere. All right, we are back. We're going to start with Steve Tucker, your GTD class winner. Let's get him in here. Steve, Blake up in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Hey, not much. A dominating performance for you there early on. You really put it on him, but it looked like Stephen McLean started to reel you in just a little bit, but you still had such a big gap.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess he took less fuel in our green flag stop. He was faster for sure. I was not great second half. When it came to tire saving, I'm just not there yet in that skill department. But I'll take it. Big win. Didn't expect to do it here at least, but this place is pretty tough. So hey, glad to get P1 and GTD. I think we finished podium in overall for GT, which is pretty awesome. So good stuff.
It seemed like the GTD Pro class, for whatever reason, it was like a war out there. I think 3 GTD Pros finished that race.
Yeah, that's not good. I mean, I know we had that big wreck on lap, was it 2, I think? Coming to 2 or just starting 2? I didn't really know what happened there. I think it took out a bunch of our competitors today, but just snuck it in on the inside grass there by the checkered flag or the flag man, and just, I don't know, just got past it and kind of just set sail after that. So not too bad. Pretty quick Harpoon Design machine today, Mercedes. Love it. Good start to the season.
Yeah, it definitely looked good, and I have to be feeling pretty good. You're probably up there in the points, either leading or right there with, I assume McLean is probably pretty close with you.
Yeah, I would imagine. I think McLean's going to be class of the field this season when it comes to GTD. He's pretty quick. I think I snuck one out today, just due to all the wrecks and whatever else. But I've got a feeling he's going to win a bunch, and we're going to try and be there with him and steal a couple and try and go back to back on this championship.
Absolutely. Well, hey, once again, congratulations. A big win in that GTD Harpoon Designs machine. Before you head out, you got any shout outs or anything to add?
Yeah, big shout out, obviously, Harpoon Design on the Mercedes today. Go and check them out on Trading Paints, the #1 painter, I believe, on the service, 10,000 paints plus, and always just always quality. So go and check them out, harpoondesign.com as well, to fill out a form for a paint. And as always, you guys for putting on a kick-ass broadcast, man.
All right. Well, short and sweet. Big win for you tonight. Steve Tucker, your GTD winner. So there was Steve Tucker. Let's bring in your GTD Pro winner, Miguel Torres. Miguel, Blake up in the booth. You got a copy?
Blake. I'm not Blake.
You got a copy,
You're
Miguel?
Blake. Yeah. I'm
Hey,
here.
big win for you. You know, look, so you had the lead there for the longest time. You ended up spinning out. You gave it up, and then you ended up getting it back there, and you finish in victory lane in the GTD Pro class.
I'm just lucky. That's just pure luck. Like if you check times in practice, I wasn't nearly as fast as Alex. Even in qualifying, he was like 4 tenths in front of me. That was Alex's win, if I'm honest. But it's how racing goes. Sometimes you're lucky, sometimes you're unlucky, and I was 100% lucky in that.
Yeah, and for whatever reason, it seemed like just the GTD Pro class was kind of a war zone. There's only 3 of you guys ended up finishing.
It's I really don't know what to say. It's maybe experience, since like for me, whenever I see a GTP car or prototype in general, I just tend to not fight it that much unless I'm in the right, So maybe that has to do something. Also, for some reason, GTD AM traffic was horrible. Like they really wanted to kill GTD pros, so maybe that's something.
Yeah. Well, who knows? Nonetheless, though, it's good to see you and Alex, definitely the class of the field in the GTD Pro class, and it's always fun to watch you two battle it out. And I'm sure we'll see many more battles throughout the rest of the season between you guys.
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully, I want to race him, but it's always either he gets taken out or I get taken out. So one day.
Yeah, we'll see. It'll eventually happen, but nonetheless, congratulations. Big win in that GTD Pro class. Before you head out, though, Miguel, you got any shout-outs or anything for the fans watching?
The Vice guys. I was with them the whole race, so shout out to the Vice guys.
All right, well, hey, short and sweet. We definitely appreciate it. But again, congratulations. Big win, Miguel Torres, your GTD Pro class winner. All right, time to bring in Casey Catola, CK, your LMP2 class winner. CK,
Yes,
Blake up in the booth. You got a copy?
Blake, what's up, brother?
Not much. You know, dominating performance. I believe you led basically from start to finish there, and you park it in victory lane with an 11-second gap to second.
Yeah, feels good for once, eh? We don't get to say that too often, especially in these races on Sundays, it feels like.
Absolutely. And, you know, it seemed like, you know, the LMP2s kept it clean for the most part, but, you know, I've talked to the other race winners, and for whatever reason, that GTD Pro class, it was like a war zone. Only 3 of them ended up finishing.
Dude, I got to see what happened with all that. You nailed it, I think. It just seemed like a war zone. I saw people just disconnecting left and right like through that first stint. Yeah, I mean, it's a tight track. We knew it was going to be a lot of traffic, a lot of tire management tonight, and seems like it got the better of some. I'm curious to go back and see what happened there.
Absolutely. It's going to be interesting to see what all played out there. But what was the strategy tonight? Were you just kind of pushing it there the whole time and it worked out for you? Or did you do some tire management, or what was the thought?
It was all tires. Like I did a little bit of practicing this week, and like even on half stints, you're getting down into the 70s and 60% tire wear, which in the P2s isn't super normal. So yeah, it was just managing that first stint. And at the end of the stint, you could see that gap started to pull. I think I went into the pits with like 5 or 6 seconds, and then, you know, coming out after that, I undercut him by a lap, and it was just smooth sailing from there and just making sure to manage traffic in the right ways, right spots. And yeah, it's just kind of an easy race from that second stint on.
Yeah, well, everything worked to plan for you for sure. So you park it in victory lane for a big win here in the LMP2 class. Has to put you in a good spot in the points, I would assume.
Yeah, buddy, I think that's top. So it's going to be fun. Richard won last week. I got second. I won this week. Richard got second. So yeah, I mean, he's really fast. There's a lot of other guys. Scott, Braxton was on it tonight. Sean is always super, super quick too. So no, it's a super, super competitive class. It's been fun all of last season, and everyone's just getting faster as we move into season 5. So no, it's gonna be a really fun season. Tight the whole way through.
Well, absolutely. Again, congratulations, though. Big win in the LMP2 class, CK. Before you head out, though, we got any shout-outs or anything for the fans at home?
Yeah, buddy, just the usuals. Whole crew over at MCR, all the staff, the owners can't do it without these guys, all the racers. What makes Sunday night so special. And, of course, the guys over at HMS couldn't do it without you guys, too. So, no, it's a really good thing we got going here. So, appreciate everyone.
Absolutely. Well, hey, appreciate you. And, again, congratulations on a big win here tonight.
Yeah, buddy. Thanks, Blake.
Yes, sir. There's CK Casey Catola, your winner in the LMP2 class, but it's time to bring in the overall winner in the GTP class winner, Braden Carlson. Let's get him in here. Braden, Blake up in the booth. You got a copy, buddy?
Yes, sir. I got a copy.
Hey, what a race for you. You know, we had some ups and downs. It looked like, I'm not sure what happened, but Christopher Damclear had some issues on a pit stop, and then he ended up junking it later on, and he just kind of took over from there and ended up holding on.
Yeah, I mean, fortunate for me, but, very unlucky for Chris. He was flying through traffic, and, yeah, I could not keep up. Definitely not my cleanest race. Traffic management here is super tough, and had a little incident with Alex, so I apologize to him about that. But, yeah, traffic management was key, and Chris was flying through it, but, yeah, unfortunate for his incident there.
And it looked like there at the end, Nate Benarowitz might have been catching you just a little bit, but I mean, you still ended up holding him off by about 2 seconds.
Yeah, he was he was creeping up on my relative. I was really trying to go easy because I had a decent gap for the lead, and really just trying to bring it home, and just trying to manage the traffic again. It's hard, and when you do that for a few laps, I saw the relative creeping up, 7 seconds, 6, 5, 4, and all the way to the end. So yeah, luckily he didn't catch me, and I think a few more laps we would have been fighting. So yeah.
Absolutely. Well, and I was going to ask you, so in these GTP cars, obviously you're the fastest class out there. In a track as narrow as this place everywhere, are you more aggressive or less aggressive, or what's the thought process when you're getting through the slower car traffic?
Yeah, as much as you want to be highly aggressive, you really have to be less aggressive for you to be fast here, and I kind of struggle with that. But you got to really think ahead on some of these corners because it's very hard to make a pass. So you really got to be less aggressive. That's definitely key around here, and I think for next week as well in Detroit, it'll be key as well.
Gotcha. Well, hey, again, congratulations. Big win, Braden Carlson. Before you head out, though, buddy, you got any shout-outs or anything for our fans watching over at home?
Yeah, of course. You in the booth. It's always a great time to go back and watch these races. You guys do a fantastic job broadcasting these. Shout out to Alan. I was doing some practice with him. I believe he finished 4th or something. So shout out to him. I think that'd be all.
All right. Well, hey, we appreciate it again. Congratulations. Big win here at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Braden Carlson, your GTP class winner.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Braden Carlson parking it in Victory Lane. And folks, I just received word. So Christopher Damclear, his main stop, what happened is he went to hit the pit limiter button, and instead he hit a different button. So ended up speeding down pit road significantly. So he was held for quite the penalty, and that put him back in traffic. Tried to make up some time, and unfortunately ended up wrecking it. So bad night there for Christopher Damclear. He junks it, but Braden Carlson brings home the GTP win. And folks, that's going to round things out here tonight. As always, we appreciate you guys tuning in, and we're going to be back here tomorrow night with the Flim Dogs Racing League Wheels America Racing Cup Series. I'm going to be live in the booth once again. But till then, folks, that's all I got. We will see you next time, and till tomorrow, I'm Blake Hutchinson. Appreciate you popping in. Coming out of turns 3 and 4. Chad White on the bottom. William Duff on the top. Checkered flag in the air. Who's going to win? It's William Duff. No, look out. He just junked it. Look out. Oh, my God. World's #1 streaming service. Hutchinson Motorsports TV. On the call tonight. On your feet. Off your seats. It's about to go green.